The House will come to order. Welcome members to the fourth day of session, 2026, February 12th of the budget session, the 68th Wyoming Legislature. Chief Clerk, please call the roll. And ladies and gentlemen, I will ask you to speak clearly. You don't necessarily have to yell, but please speak clearly so we can take this roll call quickly.
Good morning. This is roll call for the fourth day, February 12th, 2026. Alamand, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown, Gary, Brown, Landon, Byron, Campbell, Elisa, Campbell, Kevin, Chestick, Clouston, Connolly, Davis, Erickson, Filer, Hornstrom, Geringer, Guggenmoss, Haroldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, Kelly, excused, Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lawley, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, Strock, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Wharf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, we've got a couple folks that are probably somewhere in the facility. I have not heard otherwise. Unless somebody does know that they're not going to be here, let me know. Next prayer for this day is going to be given to us by our good representative, Washut. Please rise.
Good morning, members. Let's quiet ourselves. Pause before a busy day. I pray that today, through your grace, O Lord, each of us can find a way to inspire someone with a simple gesture of kindness, a single act of love, a precious moment of forgiveness, a genuine expression of gratitude, an honest display of humility. We know that all the darkness in the world cannot overcome the brightness of a single candle. Let your light shine through us today, O Lord. Amen.
Journal Committee report.
Your Journal Committee reports that the Journal of February 11th, 2026 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Representatives Posey and Jarvis.
Okay, Representative. Okay, we got people back in. Roll call. Let's finish our roll call.
Wharf. Here. Mr. Speaker, 60 present, 2 excused.
Thank you. Representative Andrew, you have something?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. February is Career and Technical Education Month, and today we are proud to recognize students and leaders representing Wyoming CTE and CTSO to the Capitol today. At this time, I would like to introduce the students and leaders joining us today, beginning with our Career and Technical Student Organizations. FBLA State Advisor Andrew Bergelli and his state officer team. You stand up. FCCLA State Advisor Angela Sweep and her state officer team. FAA State Advisor Stacy Broda and her state officer team. Skills USA State Advisor Jamie Wilcox and her state officer team. And DECA's state advisor, Shale Cranford, was unable to attend today, but two of her state officer teams are here today. In addition to our CTSO state leaders, we are also joined by leaders from the Wyoming Association of Career and Technical Education, including WACT President Jason Thorne and WACT President-elect Joe Allen. And I would like to ask any remaining state CTSO or WACT members who have not yet been introduced to please stand and be recognized. All members of the legislature are invited to join us for lunch upon adjournment to celebrate CTE in rooms W53 and W54.
Thank you all for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, these young people you just got to witness here standing up in all of these different associations. I had the great honor to be able to go to the University of Wyoming and speak in front of the CTE gathering. It was inspiring. They had basically a demonstration alley where you went down through there and you looked at all the different things that these young people are doing in their schools and the development of our career and technical education and the enthusiasm and the emphasis that is being placed on it was unbelievable. And it was just inspiring to see what all of these young men and women are doing in their schools to help us meet a need that Wyoming desperately has. 60% of the jobs currently available in the state of Wyoming are career and technical education jobs. And this mechanism, this means, and these young people are getting the training and the enthusiastic emphasis that it needs to be able to help Wyoming do what it needs to do, and that is provide for jobs and continue to develop our resources and all of the businesses that are coming here. So thank you all for your efforts and everything that you're doing, and leaders, and especially Mr. Rob Hill, and I see Heath Horniker up here, and I don't mean to not recognize people that are just as important as these men and women, but thank you for your efforts in emphasizing putting Wyoming to work and making sure that our emphasis is where the demand is. Thank you very much. What do you want? Representative Filer.
Notice, Mr. Speaker, if I could have a real quick privilege,
Please.
I come over on this side of the room because you guys are friendly. You guys are all friendly. My side of it, I don't know what's going on with our group over there, but you know, hey now, come on now. No booze yet. But anyway, dad joke of the day. What do you call a potato wearing glasses? A spectator.
Representative Heft,
Mr. Speaker, privilege of the floor.
please.
Body, I'd like to introduce to you the new CEO of the Wyoming State Shooting Complex, Patrick Giles. He's in the South Gallery.
Welcome to the House. Thank you for being here. Representative Yin,
Mr. Speaker, privilege.
please.
Mr. Speaker, so today we have staff from the Council of State Governments West. We have Will Keys and Edgar Ruiz. I think Edgar might be on the other side. of the building, but this is their annual state visit. They have materials that will be passed out to each of us about the programs and services that they have available to us as legislators. For those of you who may not be available to CSG West, it's a nonpartisan organization serving Western state legislators and state and legislative staff. So there are two ways that we can engage with CSG West among the many ways we can engage with CSG West that I want to tell you about. So our annual meeting is in Salt Lake City. It's the largest gathering of Western legislators, and it'll be July 7th to 10th. The topics in the meeting will include water, agriculture, energy, wildfires, technology, and more. And it's just a really good venue for us to discuss among our other state legislatures about those topics that we share among the West. So definitely look to marking your calendars July 7th to 10th. And for those of you within your first 4 years of service, I encourage you to consider applying to their Western Legislative Academy. It's one of the top-notch leadership development programs, and it's held in Colorado Springs in December. The application deadline is May 1st. So if you're interested, for our newer members, definitely fill that out. You have many alumni here that can chat with you about the program. They'll be hosting a lunch from noon to 1 in W108 for WLA alumni and eligible members. So with that, please welcome them to the House. Thank you.
Okay, members, our doctor of the day is Dr. Donald Kirk, MD, and Dr. Martha Hageman, MD from Star Valley. So they will be in the back there if there are any. There they are waving. So thank you for being here and for looking after us. I trust you will be able to just enjoy this day, and we will not need your services in any way other than just to be able to say hi and thank you for your service to this body. Thank you for being here. Representative Singh,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I just wanted to celebrate one of the brightest smiles and biggest joys in this chamber. We have a birthday today here, folks. It is Representative Strzok's birthday. I don't know where she's hiding. And so I believe she's turning 30 years old. And so, folks, if we can just join me in singing happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, happy birthday, Representative Strzok. That was as brutal as ever. So thank you. Okay, I'll be going to Representative Weber. She was there first. And I'll be right back to you, Representative Brown. Representative Weber, something, please?
Mr. Speaker, privilege of the floor.
Please.
Today, I would like to introduce you to a really good friend of ours from Park County. Currently, she is the curriculum developer at WyoTech, where she leads the creation of advanced technology programs for industry partners such as John Deere Precision Agriculture, as well as the mining and construction sectors. Her work helps prepare the next generation for successful careers in the skilled trades. Above all, she's the proud mom of a great young man named James, my friend in the North Gallery, Miss Nicole Forsberg. Please welcome her to the House.
Thank you for being here and welcome to the House. Appreciate having you. Representative Brown, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Please proceed.
Two things, Mr. Speaker. I just got a text message from one of my friends down on the other side of the body, and they said we were interrupting their nap time and to try to keep it down. So, second thing is I want to enter a protest on just how awful we really do sing happy birthday, Mr. Speaker.
I heard saying one Simon said that kind of singing can sterilize cats for 3 city blocks. So, and I would have to believe that's potentially here. So all you cats that are traveling around here, sorry. So, yeah, meow. Okay. All right. Moving on. We're trying to be serious here because we got a ton of stuff to do. All right. Messages from Representative Wasserberger.
Mr. Speaker, privilege of the floor.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to bring to your attention in the West Gallery, we have our former representative, Ben Hornock. If you could give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Representative Hornock, welcome to the House. Welcome back to the House. We're glad to have you. Good to have you here. All right, messages from the Senate. None, no messages from the Senate. We do have a special event that is over there in the Senate right now, military demonstration we're going to have here. So with that, just a second, hang on. Yeah, it's going to be. We're trying not to get started into something before the military event gets here. So we may stand at ease briefly. Give us one moment while the chief clerk connects with the folks to the west and find out what stage we're in. Representative Provenza, how much time do you believe that'll take? Feels a little bit like running with the brake on right now. Do we want to? Yeah, there's just no good way to get something started right now while we wait for this. If we got rolling and then had to shutter things down and then go back into it. So just hang tough for a little bit. And do you remember Schoolhouse Rock? Start singing "I'm a Bill, I'm only a Bill" in your minds. I'm sitting here in Capitol Hill, and yes, Representative Singh, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this is just more of a fun fact that I'd like to bring to the attention of the body, but the United States, for the first time in a long time, is going to be heading to the moon with another Artemis mission. And so they're scheduled to head there on March 6th, but they're preparing for that mission now, and just something to keep in the back of our minds for the opportunities and the forward leading of the United States.
Thank you for that, Representative Singh. Representative Washer, Chairman Washer, you have something for the body?
Mr. Chairman, for the record, I'd just like to mention that Mr. Tyler Schwab did an outstanding job last night presenting to us about the issues of sexual and human trafficking in the areas of the world where his Libertas International operate. And I just want to go on the record as saying how appreciative I am and offer the body an opportunity to show their appreciation to his spending time driving all the way across the state to be with us last night.
I would have to echo that sentiment. For those of you who were not able to attend that gathering last night, it was an incredible opportunity to be able to really look into some of it was kind of interesting, ladies and gentlemen. It showed us the darkest side of the humanity as human beings, and it also showed us one of the brightest sides, is that what we can actually do as human beings to change the world and be able to have a real impact on the lives of people that are looking desperately for hope. And so it was well worth attending, and we really appreciate all of his efforts. And if you would also, if you didn't attend, I would encourage you to get a hold of Representative Washit, which he would be able to help you get in contact. There were some different things that you could see and some resources that maybe he could get you onto if you were interested in helping Tyler Schwab's project. It's called Liberatus. What is the name of his Liberatus? Yeah, and so, yep, it was incredible. Okay, our special event, it's on its way right now, ladies and gentlemen, so we will be underway momentarily. Fellow representatives, we are honored to be joined today by Wyoming's Adjutant General, Major General Greg Porter, as we recognize some of our state's most outstanding soldiers and airmen. We honor the extraordinary service and profound sacrifices of our military members, and we also acknowledge the quiet strength of their families, whose steadfast support is essential to the strength of our military. Please join me in welcoming Major General Porter to offer a few remarks.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the honor to be here today. I know you were incredibly busy as this whole, the People's House is working in this compressed budget session, so thank you very much for the opportunity.
Major General Porter, the only reason we are able to assemble here in this free land is because of what you folks are doing for us. So it is our honor to have you in this body.
Cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hey, for those of you who have not met me yet, my name is Major General Greg Porter, and I have the privilege to serve as the Adjutant General for the state of Wyoming. Brought with me some of our teammates, and we've got some more up in the gallery just to show our appreciation for all the hard work that you continue to do, and also to tell a little bit of the stories about the men and women that serve in our ranks. I want to recognize first our Commander-in-Chief, Governor Mark Gordon, for his decisiveness and leadership in some really unprecedented times. I couldn't ask for a better boss and great guidance that we received from him. I did also want to thank Chairman Landon Brown, who is our House Chairman of Military Affairs Committee, and all of the committee members that serve on that committee. They do a great amount of work. They're very diligent, hardworking, and I think the people of Wyoming would be extremely proud of the work that they come out of and the thought that comes with them. So to all chairmen and all the members of our House Committee, thank you for all the work that you do. In about 5 months, the nation will celebrate our 250th birthday. Now, 250 is pretty darn good. But I'll tell you, the National Guard just turned 389 this last December. National Guard, the militia of the United States, was formed a full 140 years before the start of our nation. And just like the nation, it happens here in Wyoming as well. The Wyoming militia was formed about 20 years before statehood was achieved. As an American people, we have always seen the need for men and women to step forward, serve, sacrifice, and defend the principles that we hold dear as Americans. You know, I don't suspect our forefathers would recognize the National Guard we have today. We are no longer the 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, break glass in case of global war, force of decades gone by. We are, in fact, the sword and the shield. We are the primary combat reserve of the Army and the Air Force, and the United States no longer fights without us. Our Guard Yellowtails are known throughout the world that they can be depended on to execute the mission no matter the condition. Our Army Guard artillerymen deliver devastating, lethal effects to our enemies. Our medevac helicopters go where others fear to tread to save lives and recover our wounded. Virtually every formation in the Wyoming National Guard is battle-tested and proven. But our pride lies in that we are the shield for this state. We answer the call when Mother Nature threatens our residents. When our enemies seek to do us harm here in the homeland, we will respond. We support immigration enforcement. We are integral in the fight against illegal drugs that harm our communities. We even seek to educate our youth on math and science and robotics through our STAR-based program. These things that I have described to you are things that we do. They don't tell you who we are. On your desk, you have the latest issue of our Cowboy Guard. Within those pages, you will get a sense of our people, their families, their sacrifice, and their professionalism. People who serve in each of your communities, people you represent. I am honored today to introduce you to a few of them. Recently, actually, it's about a year ago now, a year ago tomorrow is what I'm understanding, Major Nate Kruger, a Cheyenne resident and cardiac nurse, and Master Sergeant Lindsay Glotfelty, an engineer with the Loveland Fire Department, found themselves in the heart of a historical medical evacuation from Antarctica. As members of Wyoming's 187th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, they were deployed in support of Operation Deep Freeze, a mission with a long and storied history of supporting scientific research on the frozen continent. This past February, that lifeline was put to the ultimate test. A civilian contractor, a veteran of over 20 deep freeze missions, suffered a catastrophic widowmaker heart attack at McMurdo Station. The chances of survival were slim. For more than 35 years, no one had survived a cardiac arrest and subsequent evacuation from Antarctica. But this time was different. Through the heroic efforts of the entire medical team, including our own Major Kruger and Master Sergeant Glotfelty, the impossible was achieved. After nearly 40 minutes of prolonged resuscitation, including CPR and 8 defibrillation shocks, the patient was stabilized. What followed was a flawless, high-risk 2,500 aeromedical evacuation to Christchurch, New Zealand. This dangerous 7-hour flight across one of the world's most unforgiving terrain was a race against time. Upon arrival, the patient was rushed into surgery where 2 stents were placed in his arteries. Just days later, he walked out of the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Major Nate Kruger and Lindsay Glotfelty. Next, I'd like to highlight the outstanding leadership of one of our junior officers, First Lieutenant Ellen Lang, recently returned from deployment to the Middle East with Bravo Battery stationed in Lander of the 2nd of the 300th Field Artillery. Upon arrival in country, Lieutenant Lang, along with his platoon of 17 fellow Wyoming Guardsmen, were forward deployed to an outstation in Syria. His platoon, located in one of the most austere and demanding environments across the Middle East, faced consistent indirect fire and drone attacks and were often left with limited resources. Despite that, he remained ready to respond when a mission came in, leading his team to accomplish multiple lethal fire missions. His steadfast leadership under pressure earned him the distinction of being named the Wyoming Army National Guard Company Grade Officer of the Year. Together, the 115th Field Artillery Brigade, which is headquartered here in Cheyenne, and the 2nd of the 300th Field Artillery Battalion, which is headquartered in Casper, together they made history. During this last deployment, they executed the first ever all-Wyoming combat fire mission. From the brigade headquarters of the 115th through the chain of command to the 2nd of 300th, down to the launcher, every link in the chain was a Wyoming Guard soldier. Not even Korea was this possible. This historic achievement underscores the incredible professionalism, readiness, and capability of our forces. The soldiers of the 115th and 2nd 300th and leaders like Lieutenant Lang represent the very best of Wyoming. They have answered the nation's call with courage and once again have proven that Wyoming National Guard is indispensable to our nation's defense. Representatives, I give you First Lieutenant Ellen Lang, graduate at the University of Wyoming. Hey, lastly, I'd like to end with a story about the men and women serving here on our home turf. On the evening of September 1st of this last year, a Black Hawk crew from G Company of our 2nd of the 211th Aviation Battalion was on wildfire standby in Pinedale, Wyoming. As dusk settled, they received a call from a civilian aircraft. They received a call that a civilian aircraft had gone down in the rugged mountains near Sheridan, Wyoming. Without hesitation, the crew launched into a high-risk environment. They flew into the mountains at night at high altitude through an air thick with wildfire smoke. When they arrived at the crash site, they faced an impossible situation. The steep forested terrain made it impossible to land. The only way to reach the survivors was to perform a daring nighttime hoist, nosing the helicopter into the mountain and lowering the medic through a small opening in 60-foot trees, which were created by the crash itself. Once on the ground, Staff Sergeant Ashley Ott quickly triaged the survivors, tragically confirming the death of a child passenger while preparing 2 others for immediate evacuation. The danger was far from over. On the first hoist, the patient and the medic became entangled in the treetops. In a remarkable display of skill, the pilots delicately maneuvered the aircraft while Sergeant First Class Andrew McCown expertly operated the hoists, freeing them from the branches and lifting them up to safety. This was all done in the dark of night under night vision. After delivering the first survivor to Sheridan, the crew didn't rest. They flew back in the darkness to recover the second patient. Then, redirected mid-flight, they adapted their mission and transported that survivor to a higher level trauma care center in Billings, ensuring that they received the critical care they needed. This crew's actions that September night were nothing short of heroic. They demonstrated extraordinary courage, technical mastery, and an unwavering commitment to saving lives. I have half the crew here with us this evening, our pilot, Major Lauren Gurney, and our crew chief, Sergeant First Class Andrew McCown. Yeah, it's a privilege to go to work with people like this every day. Thank you for all the work that you do for the state of Wyoming and all the support that you give the men and women that serve in your ranks. We couldn't be more appreciative. I know you've got a rough session ahead, and even though it's small, it'll be long, but thank you for all the work that you do. And often you're not, I don't think, recognized for the sacrifice and service you make. So thank you on behalf of all of us for everything that you do. Wyoming National Guard will continue to ride and fly for the brand. We hope that you have a safe and your families are safe, and we continue in this great adventure that is America for another 250 years. Thank you all. Ride for the brand.
As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, it's always worth the wait and the time that we spend in recognition of those that put their life on the line for us in this nation every day. Thank you to our military and to General Porter for his leadership, and we look forward to continuing to serve in the people of the state of Wyoming. Thank you for being here. Representative Provenza. Body, let's make our way back into the chamber here. We have some very important business that we're going to have to attend to. So please, Representative Provenza.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There have been allegations that this week a member of the public was invited onto the floor of the Wyoming House of Representatives, and that person handed out checks to members of the House. This incident calls into question the ethics and impartiality of members. Mr. Speaker, I believe the integrity of the House requires that we investigate this incident and disclose all relevant facts about that incident to all members of the House and to all of Wyoming. I move that the House of Representatives convene a special committee to investigate whether checks were provided to members of the House of Representatives on the floor of the House and whether that action is a violation of the Wyoming State Constitution under Article 3, Section 42 or Section 43, or constitutes legislative misconduct as defined in Joint Rule 22-1D. The special committee would investigate all relevant facts about this matter, hold public hearings, and issue a public report to the House of Representatives. I further move that the special committee be subject to the following. 7 members of the House shall be appointed by the Speaker and must include at least 1 member of the minority party. The Speaker shall appoint a chairman of the Select Committee. The special committee shall hear the complaints and evidence as expeditiously as possible. All proceedings of the special committee shall be conducted in public session. Persons called before the committee may be represented by counsel and shall be afforded reasonable opportunity to be heard and to present oral argument. The committee shall provide persons called before the committee with at least 48 hours advance notice of each meeting, hearing, or other proceeding of the special committee unless testimony is continued from day to day. The chairman of the special committee shall have the power to administer oaths and to compel the attendance of witnesses and the production of documents relevant to the contest as authorized by Wyoming Statute 28-1-107 through 28-1-112. Any testimony made at any special committee hearing or before the appropriate House which purports to establish matters of fact shall be made under oath. Not later than the 4th legislative day following the date the special committee was convened, the committee shall report its findings in final recommendation to the House. This motion was emailed to you. It is debatable, and it requires a majority of the votes in this chamber through roll call. On behalf of the Wyoming Constitution, I ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. The motion appears to be in order. The question is, should the House convene a special committee to investigate the allegations that members were provided checks on the floor of the House of Representatives during the 2026 budget session and make recommendations on the matter? This motion would appear to be debatable. Are there any questions? Representative Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Did you say that this was debatable?
This is debatable, yes. The
Okay.
motion has been made.
And this is the appropriate time to debate that?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And just curious to the bringer of this proposal, would.
Just for a reminder, by the good chief clerk, this is 3rd reading debate. So if you want to be able to speak to this, you have to speak, and then you'll get your time, and then you'll have a second chance, and that will be it. So Representative Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a question really to the bringer of this proposal. Would this be an ample opportunity to investigate the Public Records Act? And any changes in that? Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Singh. Others? Representative Bear, please, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First for a second, please.
First for a second. Thank you, Representative. Representative Stivar, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and for the motion. This goes to the integrity of our body. We need to look at this and get to the bottom of it, point blank. This is the integrity of this body. So I will support this motion.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Yin, first time.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I I said it was bad optics. It was bad optics. Do I know whether or not it constitutes a violation of the Constitution? I don't know because I don't have all the facts. I only know what I have in that photo, what I've seen in highway patrol video. But what I do know that should never, ever, 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 ever happen again in this body or in this building. What we need to find out, and I think this is what the public is interested in, is whether it is bribery. And so the only way we're going to find that out is if we do this convening an investigation, because that's what we're being asked of, because what happened should never have happened. I was accused of defamation. I would say that the member that accused me also said that if what had happened on the floor actually happened, it does constitute bribery. So I would say, let's find out. If it isn't, then we need to figure out what we need to do in state law to make sure it never happens again. And with that, I'll ask for your favorable consideration. Thanks, members.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Larson, JT, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First for a second.
First for a second. Representative Harshman, your first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and for the motion, I really all I know is what I read in the paper. And I'll tell you, this has been so blessed as a Wyoming kid, born and raised here, little town, Midwest Wyoming, to serve 24 years on this floor. And this is a human institution, so it's not perfect. There's no doubt. A lot of mistakes are made here daily. But what I read in the paper, I just want to find out, did that really happen? And if it did, I think we got to get to the bottom of it, because I think it is such a bad look for a person this is how it looks to the people. I mean, come onto the floor as a credentialed member of the press who's been lobbying for a certain bill. That bill passes, and then checks are handed out on the floor. That is a horrible look. And if that's true and all that stuff, I think we got to get to the bottom of it, Mr. Speaker, because it's not really about us. It's about all these guys and gals on the wall who've come before us are long gone, because we'll soon be on those photos on the wall as well. And there'll be others in these chambers. And I don't think that can be the new way of doing business in this precious state. So I urge your support, and let's get to the bottom of this, and let's fix this to make sure that your term as Speaker, the 68 fixed this, and we dealt with it properly. So on and for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Lawley, your first time, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's fair to say that not one of us came here for this session to be in the situation we find ourselves in. It's difficult, but I've already gotten emails from people back home. What's going on in the House of Representatives? And I will say that this is a fair proposal, and I actually want to thank the bringer of it because it's well thought out. And the one thing I want isn't just an investigation, but I want the people that are involved to have a right to speak for themselves about what happened and why, because that is really important too. And really, without that, we don't have a place for that to happen. So again, I wish we weren't in this situation, but I don't know that we have a choice. With the questions I'm getting, I don't know what else to tell my constituents. And I would just say the process is I didn't even see the email. I just tried to listen very carefully about how it was described the process would be. And it is a process that protects everyone in this situation that we wished we weren't in. So I'm going to be on and for it, but this is hard, and it's hard for everybody, but our body has to work through it. And this process gives us a way to do that is fair, balanced, due process, and well thought out. And so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Byron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this isn't our house. This is their house. The good representative just mentioned it's about the pictures on the wall. It's more about the people watching. Look up, that are watching on YouTube, that are keeping an eye on our institution. That's what this is about. That's what this motion is about. They are reaching out to you because they are doubting us. And when they start to doubt us, things fall apart. We have got to take this seriously. It's not about any individual in here. It's about us as a body, representing the people back at home in our state. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need to do it quickly and fairly, and I urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Williams, your first time.
On and for this motion. Members, this incident is a stain on our institution. And that's why we're hearing from the folks at home. And the sooner that we cleanse ourselves and bring some clarity to those who are trusting us, the better. On and for.
Representative Ottman, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I will say is that there are optics, and we've had a lot going on already this session, and we're only in the fourth day. And a lot of those optics have been for the reason that we came here for the budget, others for recalibration. And I just want to make sure that while we do want integrity and we do want honesty, there's a few of us that could have been brought up on rule changes or things. And I heard defamation, but there was nothing done about that. So what I will say is please do not use this as a reason to politicize what we're trying to do here. And check your motivation. If there's something that was done that was wrong, then let's take a look at it. If it appears to be wrong, then we have to watch that too, because we know that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but is it accurate? We all know what headlines do. So I would ask us as a body to check our motivation, to check what really happened, and to check what is going on here. Thank you.
Representative Wiley, first time.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. You know, we've had hours and hours of debate where we talk about transparency. And I believe, you know, the last speaker touched this. We should bring this beyond politics and go through the procedure. We carry the title of honorable. And that means quite a lot to the people of Wyoming. This institution is built on honor. And with that in mind, I believe that we should move forward with this, just like many of you heard in the brave actions of the young man last night. How does the buffalo get through the storm? You put your nose down, you go right through it. So let's follow through with this process. Let's get it done, and let's get water under the bridge.
Representative Heiner, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we've all made mistakes. We've all done things that we regret that happened. What's important is what we do after we make those mistakes. It's those that stand up and admit those mistakes and go forward that have my admiration. I think this is a great opportunity to stand up. Let's do this investigation, and let's put some rules in place so it doesn't happen again. But let's move on. Let's get it going. Let's approve this measure. Let's get on to some of the other business rather than sit around and talk about it. I think we're all in accordance that we need to do this investigation and plug some holes in the dike so that it doesn't happen again, but let's move on.
Representative Wharf, your first time.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Yes, I feel compelled to stand before you today. It's been mentioned what was reported in the paper, and I guess I feel like it's only fair that the other side gets to tell their story. And so I can tell you, I agree with what's been said. I think it's important for us to go to this with a clear mind, an open heart, and show some grace. But let's not forget about the oaths that we've taken to be here. I don't think there's anybody here that takes that lightly. But for that reason, I think the only way we can do this is to do what has been presented to this body, and as best as possible, let both sides tell their side of the story and be done with it. Because I know I didn't come down here to referee amongst different factions of our committee, our body. But I do think the integrity says we have to move forward with this. So I just ask that we'll give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Representative McCann. First time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, since you're all talking about me, I welcome this. The optics is bad, I agree, absolutely, but I did nothing wrong. I did not accept any bribe or anything like that. If this had happened out at a motel, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But it happened on this floor, and I made a mistake. I'll own it, and I will abide by whatever the committee comes up with. Thank you.
Representative Filer, first time.
Mr. Speaker, first for a second.
First for a second. Representative Brady, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I as well, I think, have been implicated here. And I encourage an investigation. That is absolutely fine. I'd like to say, I think it's unnecessary, but definitely needed to clear the names of those that were implied ill will and illegal bribery or whatever it is. So I look forward to it. Thank you.
Representative Lucas, first time.
First for a second, please, Mr. Speaker.
First for a second. Any other members? Representative Brown, Gary. First time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I feel there were mistakes made, and I think we do need to be transparent. So I invite the investigation. And I just think we all need to understand that things happen sometimes that people just don't understand when they come in onto the floor that what they're doing. So we need to make things clear. Thank you.
Representative Rodriguez Williams, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A few questions for the bringer of the motion. I'm curious if the bringer of the motion is alleging that there was a security failure, a breach in security on the House floor. I'd like to know the answer to that. Second, I'm also have a few questions regarding the potential chilling effect that the motion could bring. I question how far back the rep is willing to go. Gifts come in many different forms on this floor. You can see all the flowers, the chocolates, the plants that come in. If we're going to conduct an investigation, let's start from the beginning of the session and let's disclose all of the gifts that come onto this floor in many different forms. I'll also state, Mr. Speaker, that these are our desks. These are our offices while we're away from home. We're a citizen legislature. Many of us own businesses. Many of us have very important roles and are still conducting business while we're in session. So my question is, I live 6.5 hours away from home. If there's somebody here from Park County that holds a specific position in their own personal life, and my husband routes a check, sends a check down to Cheyenne in an envelope for me to pay a bill at the local bank or a utility bill while I'm here in Cheyenne on behalf of my family, and the minority party takes a picture. Again, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And again, this is my office right here. What's the media going to allege? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Knapp, first time.
Mr. Speaker, first for a second.
First for a second. Representative Johnson, first time.
Mr. Speaker, first for a second, please.
First for a second, Representative Johnson. Any other representative? Representative Brown, first time.
First for a second, Mr. Speaker.
First for a second. Representative Larson Lloyd, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First for a second.
Thank you, Representative. First for a second. Any other representatives? Representative, no, you've already spoken. You're going to wait for a second to go around. Any others would like to speak on the first time? Representative Posey? Please, sir. First time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to say I think we're moving forward on this in the right manner. I support the bringer of the motion, And I think the few people I heard from my district this morning is, what are we going to do? And I think that's very important. And I think this investigation will iron out everything, whether things are done wrong or things are done properly. I don't know that. None of us know that. But I think the investigation needs to happen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Geringer, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First for a second.
First for a second. Any other representatives for their first time? Representative Connolly, first time.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Morning, Representative Connolly.
I'm in favor of this, and I'd just like to remind everybody, as the philosophy that I've had is we need to do this because there's fact and there's truth. And fact and truth don't always mean the same thing. So if we can do this, then we'll be able to determine the facts, which hopefully will lead to the truth of what happened. So I'm in favor of the motion.
You have a good morning, Representative Connolly. Any other members? Representative Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
First time. Go ahead.
Thank you. You know, when I look around at all of our friends and political allies, we're a team here. And I agree with that. We are a team. We might not always agree, but we're still a team. We were elected to do the best job possible for the people in the state of Wyoming. I agree with one of the previous speakers who talked about this is our home away from home. Those of you who live here or within driving distance, you're so fortunate that you can go back home and you can relax and you can be with your kids or your dogs or, you know, your friends. Here, most of us are here doing the best work we can for the people of our district and the state of Wyoming. I am very hopeful that we will get to whatever happened, but also in the fact that, yeah, what happened at the beginning of the session? What happened in the beginning? I would like to know that too. Thank you.
Any others for their first time? Representative Gugemas, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What happened. The optics were bad. Wisdom was not involved in that whole situation. So the optics being bad, I believe if we were to not have an investigation, the optics would get even worse. So I am for the motion.
Any other representatives for their first time? Still first time. Seeing none. Second time. Representative Larson, second time. JT.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and support of the motion, and I thank the bringer for bringing it. I think just for clarity purposes, this is something that will reinstill trust in the body and the institution, and I support the motion. And you know, if it was a check to pay a personal bill, then we'll hopefully find that out in this process as well. So yeah, that's my position.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Brown? Do you prefer someone else go first? That's fine. If you want to wait a second. Representative Brown, your second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess I just want to start off by saying I'm in favor of the motion, but only for the fact that it's this body, it's what we do, and it's what we say that matters. What we put on these microphones, what gets caught on these cameras, what gets recorded on the internet, it lives. And we've seen a lot of things that have happened over the past couple of years. We'll go even since coming back into the Capitol here. There's been a lot of bad optics. And I don't disagree with the idea that these are our desks. I come in here, I give tours on a pretty regular basis, and I have people that want to take a picture of their representative that they're at home from or something along those lines, and they take pictures and send it back to their representatives. Absolutely correct that these are our desks and this is where we do business. I think we need to go into this investigation, but I think we all need to do one big thing, and that is take one huge, deep breath and try to come at it objectively. If you haven't read the article, I would be shocked, number one. But number two, that's already put a bias in a lot of people's eyes. I don't think we want to go into this with a bias. I don't think anybody wants to go into this with political agendas and to try to make things happen. I think what happened here is, frankly, it's a stain on the complete appearance of what this House stands for. I don't care what the outcome is, perception is reality to people. I've been the end of a lot of that perception myself. I've tried to own up to mistakes, and I still get called out on a regular basis, and it's because perception is reality, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, I haven't heard one person say that they don't want to do this investigation, which is fantastic. I'm happy to see that, and I'm happy to hear that. But I am going to ask very seriously that if this body votes for this, respect the outcome. Mr. Speaker, I ask for you to appoint an objective committee that is willing to take this seriously, unbiased, and get to the truth and the facts of the case. And then I want this body to hear those truths and the facts. And I want the public here watching us in person and on these cameras across the world in many cases. I want them to respect the case findings that happen. But that's only going to happen if we have an objective committee that goes in there with a clear mind and is willing to hear the facts of the case and bring that back to this body and actually do what needs to be done. We all have a higher honor right here, and I appreciate that everybody has spoken in favor of this motion. So let's do this. Let's get to work for the rest of the day. We all understand we're in a compressed schedule. Thank you to the bringer of the motion for bringing this and having everything lined up and ready to go. Let's go to work.
Representative Lawley, second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I've already made the point that, in my view, the only way out of this is a fair and transparent process. And I believe that's what's been proposed here, so I support it. And I would just ask you, what other option do we really have at this point? I mean, if you have one, I'd love to hear it, because I don't think we do. This is just where we are. But I did want to point out a couple of things. Until we do that, we can't move on. I do agree with the previous speaker in saying once we've achieved that, that's when we move on. And it's time to say, look, we did our due diligence, we did our duty. I've also heard it said that this is our workspace, and oh, do I agree with that? You might recall that during the first general session we all shared together, I brought a rule change about recording on the floor. And many of you in this room voted against it. You wanted to be able to record anything that people were saying or doing on the floor, and you voted against that rule change. So I agree, and maybe we can rethink that rule, because I felt it was our place. My desk is. I live almost 6 hours away from here. So I agree with all those arguments. But the truth is, that isn't how we behaved. We've said it's okay for representatives to privately record others. I didn't agree with that then. I don't agree with it now, really, but that is the rule. And so I think it's good that we have that perspective, because this moment actually provides for us, as others have alluded to, a lot of reflection, How much animus do we want in this body? How much campaigning continuously is good for Wyoming? We have a campaign season, and it's a good one, and it's a good process. But when it's endless campaigning, I really struggle with that. So we do have a chance to reflect on a number of things that could make Wyoming better, make this body stronger in working together when we really need to for the sake of Wyoming, and not continually call names at people that we disagree with us. We've gotten to a place that if you disagree with me, I have the right to call you this. I guess my constituents are the one I look to decide how to label me, and it will always be that way. But again, I really feel we have no other option than to move forward in this very fair and open process. But I pray that we will have all, myself included, reflect on this moment and the things it will teach us beyond the specific situation. So again, I ask for your consideration of the motion.
Representative Knapp, your second time.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. So I'm going to come at this with two different angles. One is, as chairman of management audit, we just came off of what I would call a findings of fact for laws that may have been broken. Not up to us to decide whether those laws were broken or not, just a findings of fact. The other aspect I want to come at this from is I feel like one representative talked about another option. This is a knee-jerk reaction. This is a knee-jerk reaction. I was involved, and I won't get into the details, but this was speakers ago, in a log rolling incident where something was accused for log rolling. Now, it came to a complaint, not a formal complaint, but we did gather LSO, we gathered leadership to find out exactly what happened. That's the findings of fact. Now, we're not a investigative body. We're not a criminal body. When I read the article, the accusation seemed to be bribery. If that's the case, let's let the authorities handle that. It should be a criminal investigation that goes to the Attorney General, not to a committee, not to a political committee. That's not what we are. And I very much think that that would get probably political. And so my recommendation would be, instead of having a quick knee-jerk reaction to something that just happened, is let's get this to LSO, find out if it was during session hours, after session hours, what exactly it was. Was it a campaign contribution? Was it a check to somebody individually? Those things can be found out through LSO. They know the rules of this House. And leadership can be involved from both sides of the aisle to find out exactly what happened, find the findings of fact, and if something was criminal, they can refer that to the Attorney General's office. That's where this process should probably go, just in having come off of this through management audit. We're not an investigative body, and we're not a criminal body to judge that. So let's get it to LSO, let's get it to leadership. They can find out what happened and refer it criminally or make changes to policy. Thank you.
Representative Singh, second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a serious situation. I didn't expect this going into the budget session, and so this is a surprise to me. And so, but I think we have some principles, some timeless principles since the founding of our state that we should rely upon, especially when we're making judgment calls about the character of our institution, our public institution. And before I begin, I would like to say how appreciative I am of that other branch of government which is required to look at things blindly without casting judgment, but has to have the capacity to have the patience to look at each situation and give our neighbor the benefit of the doubt. And that is a principle that applies both ways, no matter which way. And we would expect that for each of our neighbors, whether it's someone that you're concerned about their immigration status or in the highest court of law. Okay, so before we start casting stones here about our fellow members, we should take that into consideration. Article 1, Section 6 of our Constitution says, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law." And look, I understand that there are nuances and differences from what I've just described to what is happening right now. But nonetheless, we should afford ourselves, especially as elected members of this body, the ability to not immediately assume the worst of our neighbors. And so I hope we can appreciate that for each one of us. But Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a motion to amend this current motion.
Mr. Speaker, point of order. So
Your point. Representative
Mr.
Young.
Speaker, our rules on amendments require amendments to be distributed in written copy. So we would need a written amendment for that to happen. It's possible, the issue is it's because it's on second time, you won't have an opportunity to come speak to move your amendment on the second time after distributing written copies. So you could write a copy, get it distributed, and have another member make the motion for you if you so choose.
Correct. And I know that because I've got a guy out here in the calls that's going like that. So that's how I know how to answer that. So, but thank you, Representative Singh. We're not going to do that amendment unless you go through the process.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please continue if you have more to share, but I mean, that will not be acceptable at this point. Representative Filer. Representative Yin, your second time.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. So, members, it's been a lot of debate and there's a lot of things that have been brought up. Again, the member that accused me of defamation also ended up invoking the minority party. I think bringing partisan politics is the most dangerous thing we could possibly do with something like this. I do think that this is not a knee-jerk reaction. A knee-jerk reaction would be us taking some action against legislators immediately without investigation. I think the investigation is the correct route. For those that think that we should refer this to the Attorney General, frankly, the judiciary will not do anything to us because we are elected members of a co-equal branch and we need to take care of our own house. So cleaning our own house is our own responsibility, not any other branches. So that's something that we need to deal with, especially when it comes to the public eye. When it comes to things like flowers, I get it. Yeah, people see all of these all the time. We have an Ethics and Disclosure Act. It's open to amendment. The Ethics and Disclosure Act says no gifts over $200. So we have flowers. People give us flowers. People give us candy. People give us these mugs. Frankly, it's too much. A lot of it goes in the trash because I don't need 400 mugs. But if people are interested in us not having those or disclosing those more, we can amend the Ethics and Disclosure Act. And frankly, it could be something that the committee recommends us to do if that's something that the body so chooses to do. I appreciate the members saying that they have nothing to hide. I worry because in the reporting, we have things like, I can't remember, it's none of your business. And so I appreciate that change of attitude, so thank you for that. And again, all of that to say, this happened on the floor of the people's house. If it's a campaign contribution for your next upcoming campaign, don't do it in the people's house. Don't do it in the people's house. But we need to find out for sure whether it was to affect any legislation, because I think that's extremely important for the institution, for transparency, and for Wyoming. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Filer for your second time.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Folks, 13, 14 years ago, I got involved in the political game. Got elected, came to this house, would walk through those doors smiling every morning, right? It felt like a big family is what it felt like in here. Last couple years, not so much. Feels like you have to be on this side or that side of whatever the issue might be, but you're either with us or against us. And then we come about and I see all these news articles yesterday, and I have some constituents of mine blowing up my phone, private messaging me, asking me what the heck is going on down here. And for the first time, I've actually had to send out emails and text messages and 2 phone calls apologizing for something I had nothing to even do with. Didn't even know what happened until it hit the press. And I have to apologize for this body. After that, it's what are we going to do about it? I understand a couple speakers ago said something about let's let LSO handle it. Well, I do believe in the transparency side of it. And I think the people of Wyoming need to actually see this and not in a closed door meetings with our staff and a few representatives and maybe leadership. This is going to be an open process where the public can actually watch it all the way through. And then that way they can make their own determinations instead of just taking our word for it whenever it comes out. It's transparency. We've talked a lot about it. I think this is the most transparent way of doing it. But I also want to, at this mic, just put it out there, Wyoming, we're sorry. This actually happened. I never thought I'd ever see anything like this come from this body, especially from what it was 12 or 13 years ago when I first came here. Didn't matter what political party you were, didn't matter if you're left, right, center, didn't matter. But we all knew who each other were. We knew our families. We cared about one another. And we didn't come up to this podium to campaign for our next campaign. We came up at this podium because we loved Wyoming. So folks, on and for this.
Representative Johnson, for your second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask everybody, let's question this. I would like to have a unanimous vote that we proceed with this investigation. I would remind everybody that a short 4 years ago, there was an investigation where this investigation was not followed through, and it ended up in a 36-24 vote against a fellow member of this floor. So I remind everybody, let's start the investigation. Let's have a unanimous vote, and let's do the right thing and do it today as possible. Thank you.
Representative Harshman, for your second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to thank you for the way you've conducted this. Not an easy thing. And I want to, it just seems so odd that none of us have filed for office yet. I haven't accepted any campaign contribute. I think that thing we got to get to the bottom of. But Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the comments of you, the way you've conducted this, Majority Floor Leader, and all the members appreciate your comments. And I think I just want to make it clear on this. There's a complaint process. I think the good representative Northeast talked about, and I'm sure the Speaker goes through that. He probably gets 1 or 2 a week. And that's part of that job. I used to call it the junior high principal part of it. And there's all that stuff is coming to you all the time, because when you're dealing with people, that's most of the issues. And I worked with young people. I used to always say the kids are fine, it's the adults. And so, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that. But I think this issue is more about Article 3, which is the legislative department. And then you go to Section 12, rules, punishment, and protection. Each house shall have the power to determine the rules of its proceedings and to punish its members or other persons for contempt or disorderly behavior in its presence, protect members against violence or offers of bribes or private solicitation, and with the concurrence of 2/3 to expel members. We're not going there on any of that, I don't think, but it's just what I read in the paper today. I want to find out more about this, and I appreciate everybody's support. And then we can move forward with confidence in the people of Wyoming, because it's really, the tone at the top is so important. And what we say and those kind of things are so important. So very appreciative, and look forward to passing this, and we can move on with the rest of our work today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You've already had your second go around. Any others for their second time?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to call the Rules Committee
Okay,
to contest Section 40 of Mason's Legislative Manual.
Section 40,
I'm
Okay.
sorry, 400.
400. All right. Representative of everybody, the rest of the body stand at ease. There's been a Rules Committee called. All the members of the Rules Committee, please assemble in front of the dais. Rest of the members, just hang loose here for a moment while we sort this out.
Members, could you please provide some quiet?
Body, let's come back into order here. The determination of the Rules Committee, I will make the determination, is that the motion to provide an amendment is out of order based on the fact that our rules, our House rules, are over Mason's. And so they would be subject to our House rules, and our House rules under, and I can't recall, 12-2, I think, or what it was, clearly delineate that amendments must be in written order before they can be introduced. And so that is the determination of the chair. If anybody would like to challenge the chair's determination, please feel free to do so. Seeing no challenge, so ordered. Representative Singh.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to withdraw my motion.
Thank you, Representative Singh. The motion has been withdrawn. Representative Baer, for your second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to try to help the body understand what was just happening. I think that the bringer of the amendment to the motion was attempting to include into the motion some adjustments to our Public Records Act so that we could create more transparency for the public. And so with that, Mr. Speaker, I would like to move to table this to a time certain of 12 noon.
You've heard the motion. Is there any debate? No debate on that motion to table, is there? That's done. So, okay. 12 noon. This will require a roll call. That's fine. Stand at ease until we get things set up, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, understand this is not doing away with this motion. This is allowing tabling until a time certain where amendments will be able to be drafted to be in compliance with our rules and then brought back and offered to the body and debated. Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Allemand.
Let's just, for everyone's edification, before we go and get down to this road and people are wondering what exactly we're voting on. You are voting at this point to allow drafting of amendments because we will bring this motion back to the body. And what time is it? At noon? Or there was a time certain. What was your time? Time certain was noon. So we are going to have the opportunity to come back. If you allow this motion to proceed, this tabling motion, we will be back at noon. And if there are any drafted amendments, they will be considered at that time. And we will continue with the process of handling this motion. And so this is not doing away with the motion, ladies and gentlemen. This is allowing members, if they so see fit, to be able to draft amendments to the motion. If you want to allow that, then you will need a majority vote of this body to do that. If you want to allow time for drafting of amendments, which will comply with our rules, and then come back and we will open this discussion again, amendments will be drafted, and then we can discuss those amendments and then act on this motion brought by Representative Provenza. This is not doing away with the rules. This is allowing members to be able to bring adjustments, amendments to this piece of legislation that's being moved, or not legislation, this motion that's being moved for changes proposed to you, to it. And if that's as clear as mud, I can try again. This will, okay, thanks, Bill, or Representative Alleman. So this is not doing away with the motion. This is allowing amendments to be made, drafted in accordance with our joint and our House rules. And then we will come back at noon, bring this motion back, and we will discuss it again and complete the work on this motion. That's what we're doing. An aye vote will say it's all right to do that. A no vote will say that we are not going to do that, and we will continue the discussion on this motion. Is that clear? Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Allemand, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown Gary, Brown Landon, Byron, Campbell Elisa, Campbell Kevin, Chestick, Clauston, Connolly, Davis, Erickson, Filer, Bornstrom, Geringer, Guggenmoss, Haroldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, Kelly, excused, Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lawley, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, excused, Strock, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Worf, Williams, repeat, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 38 aye, 22 no, 2 excused.
By your vote, you have accepted the motion to table to a time certain. And so this motion then now will allow for amendments to be drafted, if you so see fit. And then we will be back here at noon to discuss this measure and complete the motion and the work on this motion. All right. We will hold that then until, do you have something you want to? Okay. All right. We'll move on then. What's that? Yeah, they have copy. Everything's good there. All they're going to be doing is what they're doing. If anybody wants to draft an amendment, they're going to have it up there. Ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you get on the stick. You got 20 minutes. So. Yes, they are drafting the motion that was brought by Representative Provenza. It will have lines and numbered. And then you will be able to look at that immediately here and then that will hopefully help you be able to make any amendments that you see fit. But we will get this process back going at 12 noon. So if you have amendments, I suggest you get them to the bullpen as soon as possible so we can complete this and continue.
Mr. Speaker.
Representative Haroldson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to clarify, are we standing at ease?
I believe we will to allow members the opportunity to do this because if they're trying to draft, we're going to be in here trying to do introductions, then we're going to stop and do it again. So yes, we've got a few minutes here that if you want to.
Okay.
We're at ease. So. Okay, members, it is 11:59. Let's make our way back into this chamber. I can't even begin to tell you how late this night is going to be for all of us. So don't fool yourself into believing that I'm going to be letting you out of here at 5:30. We have worked away literally a large amount of time, and I'm glad to do it. I have no problem at all with that. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that we have other things that we must accomplish to get this thing done with the budget. So we are going to be here late. And there is no uncertain terms about that. For information's sake for the body, we are still waiting for amendments to be drafted. The staff has had to do some pretty extreme maneuvering to try to get this thing organized and make it so that it is able to be seen by the public. And so they are working on that right now. As soon as that is done, then we will get this underway. So I really, really do appreciate your patience, but we will get underway as soon as we possibly can. Body, and while we wait, Representative Brown has someone he would like to have a privilege of the floor for.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can direct your attention to the West Gallery, we have my very first desk mate in this body when we sat back in the old makeshift Jonah building here when we had our makeshift Capitol. And I just want to tell you, this is a true man of God right here. He has pulled out of the legislature, decided to serve his community in a different way, is now as a county commissioner. voices his opinion very, very strongly and does a great job with that. But I'd like to welcome back Representative Scott Klim to the House.
Representative and now Commissioner Clem, thank you and welcome to the House. Glad to have you here, sir. Chairman Washit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
Please. What's your point? Excuse me.
Mr. Speaker, we set a time certain,
We did set a time certain.
and I believe we need to act on that.
Representative Washit, I agree wholeheartedly with you, but we are up against technology right now. I don't know what to tell you, sir. I really don't, because we've got amendments that are currently being drafted and we are struggling to try to make it work through the technology, but our staff is working feverishly to make sure this works. So Representative Larson.
Point of order, if I may, Mr.
Point of order, what's your point?
So to that point, Mr. Chairman, the maker of that motion to determine time certain, we didn't put any time limitations on him due to technology changes or anything else. He's the one that set it for 12, come what may. And I don't understand why, and I don't think there's anything mischievous or malicious going on, but I'm not understanding that, so please.
I certainly wish I could answer your question, sir. I really do. But, and I fully appreciate that very clear point was made, is that we had to come back and open this at noon. Representative Brown, you got something burning?
Mr. Speaker, point of order, just.
Yes, point of order.
In that same notion, this body voted overwhelmingly to delay a time certain, voted on that, and now the motion is back before the body. And I don't have the information here, but I would actually demand that we go back to the motion that was at hand. This is, we set a time certain. I understand that there's things that didn't happen. If we wanted to set a time certain and move it again for another 15 minutes or something, that's fine. But as the rules state, the time certain, we should be calling this body back into order and debating this discussion.
And we can do that as of this moment. I just learned while you were speaking. Representative Singh, you have your amendment. Body, we are back. Call this body back into order. We have now an amendment that is ready. I am assuming that amendment is able to be, it is shareable. Okay. Representative Singh, just one moment, wait a minute. Is it distributed? Does everybody have a copy of it? Okay. Okay. No, we ain't doing nothing until every one of you've got that copy in your hands. So it's available online. So, Represent, you say it, oh, it isn't available. Okay, hold tight. Representative Singh supposedly has. So we have, Representative Singh, we cannot move forward unless we have this in the hands of every one of these legislators to be able to read this and understand what is being amended. So I guess this is why you get paid the big bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, we did make a commitment in a time certain, and that we have to provide to move forward with that time certain. Unless there is someone that wants to make another amendment or motion, we have to move on that. So with that in mind, and with the time that we've lost here or whatever, not able to do this, the motion is currently, it is up and it is ready to be moved on. So we are back on debate. So you have several people here that still have second opportunity to speak to this motion. I will read off the names of the people that are able to speak. I have Representative Stivar, Byron, Williams, JD, Ottman, Wiley, Heiner, Wharf, McCann, Brady, Lucas, Williams, Rodriguez Williams, Brown, Gary, Larson, Lloyd, Posey, Geringer, Connolly, Weber, and Guggenmoss. all have the ability to speak for a second time under debate rules. Does anyone want to further speak to this motion? Representative Brady. Well, we've already got one at the microphone. Representative Weber, please.
Thank you,
Second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to table this discussion until the amendments are printed.
Okay, there we are. We've motioned to table, automatically requires a vote. This will require a full 1/2 or majority vote of the body. Give us a moment to get this brought up. Bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, a motion to table is not debatable. We will take this motion and it will be voted on. Representative, I cannot hear you. Where'd she go? She went somewhere else. Okay, we are voting on a motion to table until amendments are ready, which I'm assuming is briefly, but that is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to vote. Point of information, Representative Geringer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm just curious, when this is printed out, are we coming back immediately? Some of us have committees we're going to. Is it, I'm trying to figure out what the time frame is on this motion.
Representative Geringer, this is how this will work. This has pushed everything back. So the committees will meet as soon as we get this taken care of, and then we can go on about our day. So basically, all the meeting agendas, scheduling, and I'm very, very sorry for those folks that were coming to give testimony, but this will push all meeting times back. So as soon as we get these issues taken care of and resolved by this body, then we will break and recess for lunch, and the committees will go and they will meet for 2 hours, and then we'll reconvene and we will continue on with the process until we give up. So this is going to be a long night. Think about pizza. So anyway, we'll get through it, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we're here. Chief Clerk, call the roll. This is on a motion to table until amendments are ready to be read by the entire body. Chief Clerk.
Allemande, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown Gary, Brown Landon, Byron, Campbell Elisa, Campbell Kevin, Chestick, Clouston, Connolly, Davis, Erickson, Filer, Fornstrom, Geringer, Guggenmoss, Haroldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, Kelly, excused, Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lawley, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez-Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, excused, Strock, Stivar,
No.
Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Wharf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Weber, are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 35 aye, 25 no, 2 excused.
The motion table is passed, but I believe we have information. Hang on. Mr. Schwab said if we go to the Rules tab on the session page. We should be ready to go. Does that work? Motion, but not the amendments? None of the amendments are coming yet. The motion is there now, so you can all read the motion. We are waiting for the amendments to be uploaded.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point, Representative Brown?
Members, if you're looking for this motion, if you're having troubles, go to the homepage. And if you look on the third box to the right where legislation is at, it says session information. Click on that link, and then up in the middle of that page, there's going to be 3 tabs that you can see. And in those 3 tabs, there is a tab that says rules. That is where you need to click. And when you have that rules, it'll be down at the bottom of that list.
Thank you, Representative Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do appreciate your patience in this. This is not an easy thing to be able to deal with. And I will tell you, people are trying as hard and as fast as they possibly can to make sure this works so that everyone is well informed and understands exactly what's going on and has access to this information. So thank you for your continued patience. Hopefully this will be ready to go almost immediately here. Oh yeah, give me a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that the First Amendment is up. Second, we have two amendments that have been brought. First Amendment is up. Second Amendment should be up immediately. We should be able to begin with the First Amendment now. So Representative Singh, I would assume yours is the first one up. I don't even know who the other one is from, but you, just a minute. Wait till I get notification from everybody that they can see this, know what's going on. What's that? Page not found. Jamie? Oh. Okay, body refresh. It is there. Okay. I'll give you a few seconds to look at it, read it over. All right. Representative Singh, amendment number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would move the First Amendment to this motion. And I would ask for your favorable consideration, folks. This is we can solve this issue long-term so that no other legislative body ever has to deal with this again if we allow us to investigate.
Point of order.
Representative Byron, what is your point?
The good representative has already used his second.
These are under third reading rules. You've used your second. Well, then I would suggest, if you want this done, you've got Representative Stivar, Byron, Williams, JD, Ottman, Wiley, Heiner, Worf, McCann, Brady, Lucas, Brown, Gary, Larson Lloyd, Posey, Geringer, and Connolly that all have a second available to them yet, and Guggenmoss. Okay, now this is a good question then, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever the Second Amendment bringer of the Second Amendment to this motion, do you have the ability to bring it? Have you spoken once and have you not used your second opportunity? And I don't even know who that is. Please, Representative Provenza, you have something to share?
Point of clarification, Speaker.
Please.
If the last motion was to make it so that we had time to print, the question then becomes, do you have the right to then hand your amendment to someone else to have them submit to LSO to put their name on it? And I think the answer to that question is no.
Yep, because we said when the amendments came up that they had to be acted on. I would. Representative Brown.
Mr. Speaker.
Please.
Thank you. Point of order. Just for the body's edification, I believe Representative Provenza is correct. I believe the motion that was made by Representative Singh is out of order at this point. If he wants to withdraw it, he can. Certainly you as the speaker would be able to make that point out of order as well. But I do believe at this point, there's only one name on the amendment. Our rules do call for at least the other person that is on that amendment to be able to present that amendment to this body.
Thank you, Representative Brown. I just have one other thing in this as I'm thinking as you're speaking, sir. Representative Singh made his motion for an amendment during his second opportunity. So, and he couldn't provide it. He had it, but then we had to go through all the steps of being able to get it to the rest of the body. Is that a potential implication? Just asking, sir. Matt.
Mr. Speaker.
One moment. I got an attorney standing
There
next
we
to me.
go. I was
So
going to say, I think this is a good opportunity for our staff.
yeah, I will rule in that. I just after some brief discussion, I will rule that Representative Singh does have the opportunity to be able to present his motion because he did bring up that motion during his second time around, and he simply didn't have the ability to be able to present at that time. We've made allowances through allowing for the tabling of the motion to be able to get the motion put together. He did not make that motion at any other time. He's been waiting to be able to present his amendment, which he did present during his second opportunity. So I will allow it. So unless somebody wants to challenge the chair on that, seeing no one rushing to the microphones. Representative Singh, present your amendment and let's get this show rolling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I don't mean to take up more time. My amendment is simple. It changes the purview of this proposed committee to include potential revisions to the Wyoming Public Records Act. So that way, if there is ever an investigation into the integrity of this body, that information is available to the people. So that's the whole point, and I'm sorry for taking up your time. I ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any discussion? Representative Halali.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and against the amendment. And I voted for every one of these extensions of time, for the record, because I want transparency. If there was some way to make what we were kind of put in this position to do better, that we would have that opportunity. But this is outside the bounds of the original motion to pull in, and all of a sudden we're going to be a kind of interim committee to check out the rules of the Public Records Act is far beyond the scope of the motion. And I really kind of resent the process we've been put through in order to get that kind of motion, and that's just my view of it. Thank you.
Let's hold comment, body, if we can. So the motion's out of this. We're trying to work through this. Representative Washut, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I'd urge a no vote on this amendment. I spent some time doing internal affairs investigations in my previous career. And my experience was always that if you had a certain set of facts that you were going to investigate, you kept that tight, you focused on those facts, you did your investigation, and you generated a report. The more you start expanding the scope of that investigation, the more the tentacles go out. You can get into all sorts of places that you don't intend to go. You spend a ton of time, and you can degrade the overall effectiveness of your initial investigation. So I'd encourage us to stay focused on the facts that were brought forward in the initial complaint and focus on that only. If it comes time to change the green books on the Public Records Act, we can do that in another session, but it's too late now to introduce new legislation. So I don't see the point, and I also just urge us on a practical side that we keep this investigation tight and focused.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Garringer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On the amendment.
On the amendment, I would encourage no as well. I'm simply because we are wasting time already trying to get through this whole process. This took us an hour just to get to this point. That's the sound of bills dying. That's the sound of the other important work that we need to do dying. And so at this point, if we include this kind of reference in here, that's going to take even more discussion when this comes back to the body. If the original motion passes and this comes back to the body, we're going to spend a whole bunch of time debating this topic as well, which could be done in an interim. I encourage a no vote.
Thank you, Representative. Any other members? Discussion on the amendment. Representative Provenza.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I appreciate conversation about our Public Records Act. I think that conversation should happen. I think it's irrelevant here. We're talking about potential campaign contributions that doesn't fit in Title 16. If we're going to have conversations about money exchanging hands, I don't think that that's something that you file a FOIA for. It's in our Constitution, and it's in different statutes that have to deal with how we conduct ourselves. Vote no.
Any other members? Representative Wharf on the amendment.
Mr. Speaker, if it's appropriate, I'd like to call question and be done with this.
Question being called. All those in favor? I think we're good. Well, what do you think, Chief Clerk? Do you want to give him a chance to voice vote it? Or should we just go ahead and just voice vote? Voice vote. Question on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. Motion has failed. Division being called. All those in favor, please signify by standing. Motion has failed. Okay. Second amendment. What's the next amendment? Who's the bringer? Huh? Rodriguez Williams? Okay. I don't have it up on my screen up here, and I just have the one, so. Representative Williams, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move my amendment number 2 to the Provenza amendment. On page 1, line 14, after the word house, insert while the legislature was in session, comma, whether there was a security breach, and then the sentence continues, and whether that action is in violation of the Wyoming State Constitution under Article 3, Section 42, etc. Mr. Speaker, I just encourage an aye vote on this. In my previous testimony, as I stated, I'm very concerned as to whether or not there was a security breach. If this action was conducted, or alleged action was conducted while the legislature was in session. As the body knows, we have rules in place when we are in session and when we're not in session. Who is allowed on the floor, who is not, and conduct that's allowed, etc. So I urge and I vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Jarvis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I guess I just have a question. Is anyone else but us allowed on the floor at session when we're in session?
Representative, we'll get back on that particular thing unless you are asked or allowed in and brought in by a representative. It's the only way that you can be on the floor in this chamber. And staff when we're gavelled in. So Representative Stivar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and against this amendment. We're in a sacred hall. We need to look at what we do. How are we perceived by the public, even on cameras? I mean, it needs to be put out here. Especially, I think it's in the building. You know, if money is being exchanged hands or whatever, as an individual, we have to have morals, values, and ethics. This comes down to the ethics part of this. Doesn't matter if nobody's in here. You know, if it's a donation, fine and dandy. They need to mail that to your house, not hand it out in the Capitol during a session. That's what we need to get to, is the ethics of the violation. Thank you. Straighten that out.
Representative Pendergraft
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have
on the amendment.
had a question for the bringer. What exactly is meant there by in session? Does that mean that we're under the gavel as we are now, where we are in here? Or does that mean after we have gavelled out, but we're still in the budget session? So I'm asking for a definition there.
Representative Larson, JT.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and against the amendment, simply because this specific question can already be addressed without putting this language in there. You don't need this language to address it because the goal of this is to look at all of the facts. And I assume that this committee will look at everything that had occurred. And if there was a security breach, they would be able to determine that without this language in the motion to convene this committee. Thank you.
Any others? Representative Ottman on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would vote in favor of this. Number one is, was it during session or was it not? So that's the thing. Was it a security breach or was it not? Was it campaign finance, as we keep hearing, for the highlight, or was it not? Who was the check written to and everything? And as the last speaker said, we'll find all that out. So let's quit putting all this verbiage out there and innuendo. And as far as integrity on the floor, I agree wholeheartedly. I really, really do. And that is one of the reasons why I think that some of the shenanigans that go on need to be looked at. And remember, as was said, this is our office. This is our office. This is where we are. And after we're gavelled out, we're gavelled out. That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Any others on the amendment? See, question being called. All those in favor of the motion to convene investigative House Committee Amendment number 2 signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has division being called. Did I hear division? Division being called. All those in favor, please stand. Those opposed? The reason we're counting is because we've got members missing, and I had members that had to leave, so it is going to be potentially close here. The motion has failed. The amendment has failed. Question being called on the motion. All those in favor of the motion brought by Representative Provenza, the motion to convene an investigative House committee. I'm just going to have her do a roll call, and then we will know exactly what's going on here for the public and for ourselves. Representative Nicholas is not going to be here. He had to be excused to a doctor's appointment. So, Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Allemand, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown Gary, Brown Landon, Byron, Campbell Elisa, Campbell Kevin, Chestick, Clauston, Connolly, Davis, Erickson, Filer, Hornstrom, Geringer, Guggenmoss, Haroldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, Kelly, excused, Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lawley, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storr, excused, Strock, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Worf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Are there any changes? Closing vote. Vote closed. 59 aye, 3 excused.
By your vote, you have chosen to adopt the motion to convene an investigative House committee. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as your speaker is concerned, my commitment to you is to make sure that we do this in a fair and impartial fashion. My dad told me one time that your success in life depends on how you handle your difficulties. So how we handle this will determine the success of this body. My commitment is to all of you is to put a committee together that I believe, and I will make every effort, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that it's balanced and that it's fair. And that I would hope you would trust me enough to be able to put that committee together and that you would be able to afford that committee some grace, because now they're going to have a responsibility during a very tight budget session to try to make a determination on this, to move this House ahead and put this behind us and take care of it the right way. And I believe all of you are here at this time and in this place because we will do that. So that is my commitment from the chair. Mr. Majority Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until 2:30.
Committee announcements. Chairman Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your committee number 8 will be meeting in 5 minutes upon recess to hear 4 bills that we mentioned yesterday. We will try to work those in as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Representative. Vice Chair Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your committee number 2 appropriations will meet in 5 minutes upstairs, room 301. We will discuss House Bill 52, elections, hand counting for recounts.
Thank you. Representative Washut. Chairman Washut.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your committee number 1 will meet at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in our normal room, the Platte River Room, to hear 3 bills: House Bill 66, House Joint Resolution 5, and House Bill 10.
Thank you. Representative Byron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Travel, Recreation, Wildlife, and Cultural Resources Committee will meet in 5 minutes downstairs in 005 to hear House Bill 15, House Bill 17, and House Bill 19.
Thank you, sir. Representative Locke, Revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your Revenue Committee number 3 was planning on re-adjourning after adjournment on the floor. And we are going to not do that because I believe we're probably going to be here late. And so I'm going to cancel that for tonight. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Any others? All right. Okay, you have heard the motion of the majority floor leader. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here at what time did you say? I forget. 2:30. We'll be back here in 2:30.